justice for all.
We will now turn the meeting over to the mayor for the administration of the oath of office and nomination and election of officers.
Thank you, Mr. Lyons. If the newly elected candidates would please stand. If you'd like to come over here so people might want to take pictures. And I will start out by, if you'll raise your right hands, I will start out by saying, do you, and you say your name, and then I'll read the rest, and you just have to say, I do. Just like a wedding, so congratulations. Do you,
Eric Anderson,
having been elected to the Board of Education of the City of Norwalk, solemnly swear or affirm that you will faithfully discharge the duties of said office according to law, so help you God.
I do.
Congratulations, gentlemen.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, now the next item on the agenda is a nomination and election of officers for the coming term of the Board of Education. The first office would be the board chairman. I will take nominations from the floor. Do I have a nomination from the floor for board chairman? Mr. Meek.
Yes, I would like to put into nomination Mike Lyons, our current board chair. Mike showed real leadership and held things together despite superintendent turnovers and board issues on the last board. He was a rarity, a candidate who kept his campaign promises to end the annual budget chaos and get the school's finances in shape. He adopted Common Core and put in new curricula in place in English, math, social studies, and world languages. And he got the process of creating school governance councils at all our schools underway. He also led the effort that got Dr. Adamowski approved as our new superintendent, a move that's already paying great dividends. Having Mike stay at the helm during the first year of Dr. Adamowski's term will give us the stability and leadership we need to complement what Dr. Adamowski is doing. So I'm happy to place Mike's name in nomination. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations from the floor for board chairman? Are there any other nominations from the floor for board chairman? Are there any other nominations from the floor for board chairman? Seeing none, we don't have a secretary yet, so I can't ask the secretary to cast one vote. So I guess I would call for a vote. All in favor? Opposed? Abstention? A favor? Okay. Unanimous. Congratulations, Mr. Lyons.
Thank you.
Do we have any nominations from the floor for the election of board vice chairman? Mr. Lyons.
Yes, I'd like to nominate Heidi Keys for the position of vice chairman. Heidi, as you know, has served for several years now as the secretary of the board. She's taken a leadership role there, particularly with our whole spotlight process for recognizing people who've achieved, either students or teachers who've achieved greatly in the school system. And in the last year, 2 years, she also chaired the policy committee, one of our more important committees, and has been steadily working through major policy changes for the school system. She served as secretary for several years now, and I think it's a great opportunity for her to move up, so I'm happy to place her name in nomination.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations from the floor for board vice chairman? Are there any other nominations from the floor for board vice chairman? Are there any other nominations from the floor for board vice chairman? Seeing none, I will close the nominations. We still don't have a secretary, so I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Carried unanimously. Finally, the nomination for election of board secretary. Do I have any nominations from the floor? Ms. Keys.
Thank you. I'd like to nominate Mike Barbas in spirit. He's not here tonight. I will
He's on
nominate
his
him.
way.
So even if we did have a chairman, a secretary.
Just a little background on Mike. Mike's been on the board for the past 4 years. He was just re-elected unopposed. He's taken on one challenging position after another. He first started out his career on the board on the finance committee. Some of our budget troubles started then. It grew, our budget troubles grew and grew.
Not because of him, however.
No, not because of him, but he eventually took over as chair of our finance committee. He then took over chair of our negotiations and personnel committee. Over the last few years, he oversaw several negotiations for different contracts. He also developed a very close relationship with Bruce Millian, a very close working relationship. Mike's also voted for and fully supported all of our previous and new superintendent as well. I feel his track record speaks for itself, and I feel that he would make a really great secretary, and I highly encourage him to be our secretary, and I do nominate him as such.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations from the floor for board secretary? Are there any other nominations from the floor for board secretary? Are there any other nominations from the floor for board secretary? Seeing none, all in favor of Mike Barbas for board secretary, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, unanimous. Congratulations to Mike in absentia. Before turning the meeting back over to your new board chairman, or your continuing board chairman, I just want to thank the ladies and gentlemen of the board, those returning, those newly elected, and thank Dr. Adamowski and wish you well as you work the next 2 years, 4 years actually, to continue making the Norwalk school system the best it can possibly be for our children. I know you've all got that spirit in your heart, and you wouldn't do this if you weren't passionate about what your duties and responsibilities are. So God bless you as you move forward, and let's get going. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. And typically, we would adjourn the organizational meeting at that point, but we have an item that requires immediate action that is on the agenda. This is the approval of the final plans and construction specifications for the Norwalk Early Childhood Center. This is the Roosevelt construction project. We're now all going to read through these documents.
Just so you know that they really exist.
Or we can take a shortcut and just have Mr. Hamilton explain them to us. So, Tom, bring us up to speed.
Okay, this project has been in the works for over a year now. This is the Norwalk Early Childhood Center, which is to be located at what is the former Roosevelt School. The project was conceived back, again, more than a year ago with the intention of creating a unified 50-50 pre-K program. Currently, the district operates 8 separate classrooms spread out across multiple buildings where we operate a 50-50 pre-K model. The 50-50 model is a model that uses or provides services to special needs students as well as typical students. The idea being that combining special needs students with typical students serves the instructional needs of those students best. So the idea here essentially was to consolidate those existing classrooms into a single location where we can provide a more robust set of services as well as achieve some efficiencies, economies of scale by having the operation consolidated in a single location. So the project itself consists of remediating and refurbishing classrooms, so it means new floors, new ceilings, new lighting in all the classrooms. It means new toilet facilities and new sinks in every classroom. It means all the classrooms will of course be painted. It means hallways will be remediated with new floor tiles, ceiling tiles, light fixtures, and painting. Other facilities to be built or renovated in the space include a main office, a conference room, ADA compliant bathrooms, 8 therapy rooms, and a nurse's office. The existing gym will serve as a play area for and multi-purpose area for the school. And there will also be some improvements made to the exterior with replacing some wood facade and also putting a modest entry lobby in the area where there's an existing canopy. And I should also add, we'll provide additional security buffers, so there'll be ability to have locking doors before you can get into the building itself. There will also be a handicapped ramp constructed at the facility. So at this point, the plans have been completed. They have been reviewed by the state, which needs to review the plans. We did that, I guess it was about a week ago. They're now final and need to be turned over to the state and then approved by the state, and then we intend to be out to bid in early December. We greatly appreciate your willingness to take this up at a meeting when you normally wouldn't take up any business, but because this project is on a very tight time frame, it's important for us to get this facility open by August 15th, because really in the intervening period, in addition to all those benefits that we will achieve in the pre-K program, this has a very important added benefit of freeing up classrooms, 8 classrooms that are in existing schools that are going to be needed next year to house the increase in enrollment for our normal regular programs. So that's why this has such a high priority, is because we want those classrooms to be available to meet enrollment needs next school year. So again, what you're approving tonight, the action is you're approving the final plans, and the final plans over here and the construction specifications over here. Obviously, if you want to go through them, I guess that could take a while, but
I'll take your word for it.
they have obviously been vetted by the architects and so forth. Alan Lowe, I should indicate, is also here. And you may know Alan Lowe is the staff to the NFCC, and major school projects are administered by the NFCC, which serves as our citywide school building committee. So Alan has also been very involved in this process as well. So I'm happy to take any questions that I can answer, and Alan Lowe is also here for any questions.
Are there any other local approvals that are required at this point? Does the council need to approve, or?
The NFCC approved it last night, and I think the only other local approvals at this point that I'm aware of are local officials like the fire marshal
department.
and so forth, and they may have, I'm not sure if you've obtained those or not yet.
We're halfway through that already. So hopefully by today's Tuesday, we're looking for by the end of this week, next week we'll have all the approvals. So
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so you're ready to rock and roll here.
Right, so you are the last board that needs to approve this at this stage. Now, of course, the bids will come back after, they'll go out in December and come back in either late December or January, and then the bid will need to be awarded by the council, the common council, will go to the bid will go to the common council for approval.
Okay. Brian?
Yeah, a comment and 2 questions. First, my daughter went through this program in 3s and 4s. It was great. 2 the questions. You said 8 classrooms. We're getting 6 at Roosevelt, so we're going to keep 2 at Cranberry, I would guess.
And not necessarily. These classrooms currently are very under-enrolled. There was an over-projection of students on the part of our special ed department when the classes were formed this year. The recommended ratio should be 16 to 18 students. At that level, we would be able to consolidate the 6 to 8 and fit everyone into the Roosevelt Center. And as Tom said, the advantage to doing that is really in all the related services, because as a group of children here, we get a lot of related services. And the fact that you can have these specialists, OT, PT, different kinds of speech therapy in one place, it creates a lot of efficiency and creates a higher level of service for the children involved.
And the other question was, did we end up getting an allocation for furniture fixtures? Furniture and fixtures?
We have an allocation for furniture from the city through the fund that was established to fund repairs at that building. So we do have an allocation of funding.
Excellent, thank you.
I just wanted to thank you and Alan and everybody else involved. I know there was perseverance, a lot of back and forth, as far as the state and coming back and what we needed. As Dr. Adamowski just stated before, just to have everything consolidated, having the typical and atypical children and freeing up some of these classrooms is going to be huge for enrollment for next year. One question, though, I know it states in order to be open for 2016, 2017, are we pretty definite? Are we looking definitely to have that? Hoping, knock on wood, that's the
Yeah,
plan?
that's, you know,
why we're here
obviously, we can't make guarantees,
Right.
but we're certainly, that's the intention. That's why we're pushing this through, is we do expect that to be the case. And the good news is that usually on construction projects, if you have delays, it's because you run into some site condition you didn't know about. And hopefully, since, you know, we're not building new here, we're renovating an existing space and an existing building that the city has been operating for many years, hopefully, and they've done a number of the, you know, most of the remediation things they've already taken care of. So we don't expect that we're gonna run into anything, but, you know, I don't wanna say never, because you never know. But
If it
you wanna
works
add
as my
anything?
project, it doesn't work as Tom's. No, but I think after the bids comes in, and working with the contractor, we should have a much better idea. We do have a schedule developed, and it is scheduled to complete by August 15th. So again, like Tom said, you know, we got the bid, it's a bidding process, we don't know who we're gonna get, and it's really a process to fine tune, like a better word, fine tune the contractor to see which one works best for us. But it's all interior work, so it's not like, you know, the weather is not gonna be an issue.
Right.
It's really empty, so it's not like we have occupancy to deal with. So, and also, we actually take steps to make sure that all the equipment we're looking at and potential purchasing, it's easily accessible to us. So it's not we buying specialty items that need to come overseas or something like that.
Plus you had it as, it was a preschool before. I mean, I know we had to change everything around, but it was a,
Yeah, we say that a lot, but at the same time, when you look at these buildings,
I
even
get it,
the
yeah.
1950 schools or 70 schools kind of thing, the code changes quite a bit. And also the equipment, fresh air requirements, everything, it's not so simple, especially say it used to be a school, it is a lot of work.
one other question though, Dr. Adamowski, are we keeping the majority of our same staff that we have at some of our other schools that will be housed here?
They will, for the most part, 6 of the 8 teachers, and we have aides in those classrooms as well, will go with the teachers, with the classes to the school.
Thank you.
I think also I just should mention to the board that one of the potentially wonderful things about this going forward into the future would be the opportunity to create some integrated activities for the preschool children and the seniors who will be housed in the same facility. We're hoping down the road to have some type of a integrated outside area where the seniors can sit or play with, or simply observe the children playing or play with the children. And we're going to be looking to see how we could involve the seniors as volunteers in the classrooms as well. But this is a nice combination of those being served by Roosevelt School.
Can I ask you
There's
something?
a good precedent for that too at the Marvin in East Norwalk.
Right.
Because they did that consciously as a design, and the older people who live there constantly interact with the little kids, you know, read them stories and stuff like that, so it works. Okay. I'd also like to point out just that this is a project that was recommended in the CREC report. It originated from CREC, and we know we still have a lot of things to do to bring into compliance with CREC, but this was something that originated with them. They recommended consolidation of these programs in one place to improve the quality of the services that we're providing to the children. And, you know, that is going forward going to be a key to rebuilding special ed here and cutting the cost of the outside, you know, references by building the quality of the internal program. So this is a step one of putting the CREC plan into effect. Any other comments or questions? All right, hearing none, we'll proceed. Well, no, actually, I need a motion. Chair would entertain a motion to approve the EDO 492. Moved. Is there a second? Second by Ms. Harris.
Just a technical correction. I do want your minutes to reflect that you're approving the final plans and construction specifications dated November 10th, 2015 for the proposed Norwalk Early Childhood Center, State Project 103-0243A/CV, and authorize that the project be put out for bid.
Okay, so that is in the packet.
Okay.
We will give that to the secretary to make sure that it's exactly that way. Paperwork you can submit to the state. All right, so we'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of approving the application, please indicate. And that is unanimous. And now over to you now, make it happen. And one last item of business. It so happens that since I'm a commissioner of the Superior Court, I have the authority to swear people into office. So stand up, Mr. Late Arriver. Okay. You, Michael Barbas, having been elected to the Board of Education of the City of Norwalk, do solemnly swear or affirm that you will faithfully discharge the duties of said office according to law, so help you God.
I do.
Congratulations.
Secretary.
What's that?
Yes.
And he's
I'm the secretary.
and he's now secretary. Now we have a secretary. All right, Chair would entertain a motion to adjourn. Moved. Second. All in favor? Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
All righty.